And it's Friday. It's the end of the work week as we enter that first week of autumn. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. Welcome back for this Friday episode of the 10 Commandments of Leadership. I'm your host, Tim Allston. I'm a leadership strategist. I'm a 4-time Amazon best-selling author, and I am a recovering egoholic. Here in the 10 Commandments of Leadership, this is where we help leaders manage the one thing that can sabotage their success faster than anything else, and that is an unchecked ego. The Forbes magazine, just this week on September 25th, yesterday as a matter of fact, headlined it plainly: when your CEO's leadership creates chaos. When your CEO's leadership creates chaos. Their story bullseyed what we call egoholism, and that is the distorted sense of self that derails leaders and organizations alike. Here's what the research says. McKinsey shows that up to 45% of a company's performance variation is directly tied to the effectiveness of its CEO. Additionally, Gallup finds that managers and leaders account for 70% of the variance in employee engagement. 70%. What is the translation of that? When leadership goes wrong at the top, the consequences cascade quickly to every corner of the organization. When leadership goes wrong at the top, the consequences cascade quickly to every corner of the organization. As we recovering egoholics often like to say, organizations don't fail, leaders do. And the number one reason? The unchecked egos that sabotage decision-making, team alignment, and long-term success. Today, we'll unpack Forbes' story of a fictional chief marketing officer named Alex, who faced down her CEO's egoholism. We'll overlay Alex's approach with our egoholism recovering EHR steps 1 through 3, and also tied into biblical wisdom that still speaks powerfully to modern leadership. Are you ready? Okay. Egoholism is more than arrogance. It's more than arrogance. It's a distorted view, distorted sense of self that blinds leaders to reality. Symptoms include impatience, know-it-allness, intolerance of others' ideas, poor listening. Yeah. Impatience, know-it-allness, intolerance of others' ideas, poor listening. In the Forbes case, these behaviors created an exodus of directors, low trust on engagement surveys, and a culture of fear. When egoholism rules the top, everyone below pays the price. So, how did it get turned around? Egoholism step number 3, become an active listener. Alex began by simply asking the CEO, what are your top 2 priorities? His answer, rapid growth and investor confidence. Notice what she did. Instead of reacting, she aligned her listening with his outcomes. She aligned her listening with his outcomes. Active listening means tuning your ears before flexing your ego. Then there's step number 2, dig below the surface to unearth hidden treasures. Alex and her peers worked cross-functionally to define decision rights. Who makes the final decision? Who contributes input? Who's accountable for execution? Who just needs to be informed? Forbes notes that they also established a disciplined flow for conversations. Start with facts, move to implications, explore interpretations, save decisions for last. This rhythm kept discussions grounded, reduced ego-driven derailments, and gradually built toward action. And step number one, egoholism recovering step, glance back quickly before driving forward. Alex recognized that her CEO dismissed internal dissent, but took external voices seriously. He dismissed internal, but took external voices seriously. So she began to support her recommendations with direct client and investor feedback. One client said, quote, "We're frustrated by the constant production pivots." That landed far more powerfully with the CEO than another internal executive saying the same thing. Sometimes the best mirror for an unchecked ego is external reflection. From the Bible, Ecclesiastes 4:12 talks about the power of unity. It says a three-braided cord is not quickly broken. Alex invested in trust with her peers, so she never walked into the boardroom alone. A united team was impossible for the CEO to ignore. Impossible. And then there's the Bible's book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, and it says, "Write the vision and make it plain." Alex and her colleagues codified priorities and meeting rhythms in writing. That documentation gave clarity and endurance to their changes. Leadership transformation is rarely instant. It is, as the prophet Habakkuk said, a vision for an appointed time. A vision for an appointed time. So, what does this mean for you and me as recovering egoholics and as emerging leaders? Quite simply, here are 4 takeaways. Number 1, be bilingual. Be bilingual. What does that mean? Learn to speak both the language of the CEO's priorities and the language of you as emerging leaders and your realities. Number 2, corral your allies. Don't fight egoholism alone. Build coalitions that amplify your voice. Use outside validators, customers, investors, or congregants that can reach the ear that insiders cannot. Play the long game. Change takes patience and persistence. The victory may linger, but it will come. It will come. In closing, Forbes' story proves that egoholism recovering has been what has been saying all along. Unchecked egos create chaos, but managed egos create momentum. Unchecked egos create chaos, but managed egos create momentum. So end this week with this question by stating what we do in step number 3. Ask your leader one simple question: what outcomes matter most to you? Then listen actively and align your work around that answer. Remember, egoholism isn't cured. Instead, it's managed. But when leaders recover, organizations thrive. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching the 10 Commandments of Leadership. Until next time, lead from humility, not ego. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.